If you use the formula John and I use, which is 1980, before they made those changes, the figures are 19.2 by me and 19.8 by him.
Jim in Kansas. Hello, Jim.
Yeah, I would like to know about the different degrees of bankruptcy. If Mr. Chapman was to rank these countries that are on real shaky ground, or because he says in bankruptcy, I mean, which one is the least bankrupt, and would the Canadian dollar be a good investment?
Well, I think out of the currencies, if you have to be in one, it's okay. But I prefer gold and silver assets, but there are some people who want to keep money in other currencies. And since the Swiss are now monetizing corporate bonds and telling everybody that they're going to make their currency weaker if it gets stronger so that they can compete and they won't have deflation, which is a canard, then the Canadian dollar could be something you could use.
Jim, anything else?
Well, I just if he were to rank order some of these countries that he just gave like Iceland and Greece and Ireland and stuff. I mean, if he were to rank order them into the degrees of either least bankrupt or most bankrupt, I mean, how would his chart look?
Well, we'll do that when we come back.
All right.
Okay.
With the Bob Chapman special.
Yes, Robbie, we got time. 20 seconds.
British sovereigns, brilliant uncirculated, $255. Order 20 or more, receive a free subscription to the International Forecaster in a fine ceramic mug courtesy of RBN.
That's the fastest he's moved in 22 years. 800-691-7898. 800-691-7898, folks. It will go up. There's a little lull in the market right now. It means you can buy. We'll be right back. Hour 2 coming right up. Second hour of the National Intel Report on this special edition of the Intel Report on Tuesday. It is the 21st of April, 09. And Jim asked, ranking worst to first or first to worst? What's your ranking on this, Bob? Who's in the most serious?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I think it's the ultimate aim of the elitist to institute a new world currency, which I will say at this time will not be accepted by virtually anybody. But what they want to do is they want to devalue every currency in the world simultaneously, and they want to default country by country simultaneously. And when they do that, they want to create a new world currency, and it'll be digital, and that is so that they can keep track of everybody's wealth. And they will say it will be backed by gold, which in fact probably it won't. But it won't be successful. Now, back to the question. Iceland is history. It's gone into bankruptcy, etc. It's a very small country. It's not consequential in the scheme of big things.
300,000 people.
Exactly. And that's even a small town in Europe or America. The worst of all the countries, beside the United States, is Great Britain. So they're the number one European problem country. Number 2 is Ireland. Number 3 is a dead heat between Greece and Spain, followed by Portugal and then Italy. The core of Germany, France, Belgium, and the Netherlands, relatively the same. The Netherlands and Germany being the stronger, Belgium being weaker than all of that particular core group, and France kind of on the edge. And France is run lock, stock, and barrel by the Rothschilds, and they do what they want. And so that's the ranking system. It's all bad. I think if they're not going to immediately increase money supply and credit over 20% and drop rates to 1/4 to or 0.5%, that Europe, and that would include England, you may as well throw them in there, will very quickly go into a deflationary depression. And once that happens, it will tend to pull the entire world with it. So, this is going to have repercussions. And that's why they're screaming from the rooftops in Washington and New York that you got to do what England and the United States have done, and you got to bring interest rates down, and you have to increase money and credit. And even that is not going to save them, because all they're doing is buying time. And the Europeans know that. So the Europeans have a choice here. We either do what the Americans and the Brits want to do and extend this thing another 2 or 3 years, or pull the plug now. And quite frankly, I think they're going to pull the plug now, because Germany said, hey, look, we're tired of this. Our balance of payment surplus has carried the Eurozone ever since it started 10 years ago. Our real estate never went up, and it's still stagnant, but it hasn't gone down precipitously because there was no room from the top coming down. But they're tired of it, and I think the European Union's going to break up. I think the euro will be history.
That goes counter to their grand plan here for world domination and a new world order.
Thank God.
We'll take the break. 800-313-9443. A bit of good news here, folks. The grand plan of the globalists for total hegemony and control of governments, corporations. Could it be coming to an end?
Get ready for Real Talk Radio. You're listening to the National Intel Report with your host, John Stachmiller.
On the European front, out of Bob Chapman's International Forecaster, industrial production across the 16-nation Eurozone plunged sharply in February, reflecting a slowdown across all industrial sectors and amplifying worries about the depth of the region's recession. The statistics agency Eurostat on Thursday said industrial production fell 2.3% from January. Compared to February of 2008, production plunged 18.4%, the biggest annual drop since records began in 1990. January industrial production, however, was revised upward to show 2.4% monthly fall and a 16% annual decline. Eurostat previously estimated a 3.5% monthly drop and a 17.3% year-on-year fall. Austrian consumer prices were modestly higher in March due to large falls in fuel and heating oil prices. Consumer prices were up 0.3% the month and 0.8% from a year earlier. When stripped of the fuel and heating oil prices, March inflation would have been at 2.2%, according to statistics, the agency said. Big drops. Everybody, I just as a side note here, CarMax, one of the nation's biggest used car sellers, man, they keep piling these big SUVs and the vans and everything up on the front lots. People have had this little feeling of, well, maybe the fuel prices have dropped and they're going to stay there, so I can go buy one of these monstrosities. Folks, wait till the inflation hits. Wait till it hits. And you can't afford anything. Anything that you can economize on right now, and I don't care what it is, do it. Do it. Because money is going to be scarce in the future, and whatever you've got to shell out for whatever, the less the better. John in Minnesota. We got full phones here. Let's roll them. John in Minnesota, you're up.
Greetings, gentlemen. Great show on the 15th, by the way, John. I absolutely loved your rant.
Thank you.
Bob, maybe you guys, I'm not sure if you remember this gentleman, Martin Armstrong, the former chairman of the Princeton Economics International Limited. Ring a bell?
Yep.
Of course.
Going back 10, he's been basically sitting and wasting away in prison. A couple of murders attempted on his life while he goes uncharged as various participants in Goldman Sachs hold his company in receivership. I'm wondering if you gentlemen had a chance to see his latest offering, Looking Behind the Curtain, The Real Conspiracy, in which he goes into what's really going on, and essentially, and it's not a surprise to anybody, but the detail he goes into is amazing. But Goldman Sachs essentially runs this country. And I actually got this off of Jason Hommel's wonderful website, Silver Stock Report. Are either any of you gentlemen familiar with the report?
I am?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any comments, Bob? I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Well, he's right.
It's just
Like
incredible.
he's been right all along.
They tried to
He gets
murder the
shanghaied.
man 2 years ago, for crying out loud, in his jail cell.
And he had to cop a plea to get out of jail.
It's just the rot is so incredible. It's like everyone's living in a house. It's like this country is a house that's so utterly infested with termites. Yet the wallpaper remains relatively pristine, but the entire structure is just in the precipice of blowing away from a stiff wind. And it just shocks me that it hasn't yet, or somebody hasn't decided to walk up to one of the walls and put their finger against it and punch a hole in it. It's so corrupt that it wouldn't take much to just completely reveal the rot for all. And I'm wondering when that's going to happen.